In a universe full of so many seasons, the moon has some of the most beautiful. We've already taken a look at Moon Winter, the absolutely beautiful Moon Spring, the slightly wet Moon Summer, and today we are exploring Moon Fall, the most beautiful of all of the seasons.
This is not what I was expecting.
What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. You know, it's been a while since we've had a wonderfully emotional disaster movie that's really resonated with us as an audience. Is Moonfall that film? Well, today we're going to talk about it. Once again, apologies for the voice, still under the weather, but today we're going to talk about Moonfall, if it's worth watching. If you guys like this video, let me know. Drop your thumbs up. Let's get into it. In Moonfall, a mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it. With mere weeks before impact and the world on the brink of annihilation, NASA executive and former astronaut Jo Fowler is convinced that she has the key to saving us all. But only one astronaut from her past, Harper, and a conspiracy theorist, Houseman, believe her. These unlikely heroes will mount an impossible last-ditch mission into space, leaving behind everyone they love, only to find that they might have prepared for the wrong mission. In the vein of 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, and countless other disaster movies, a lot of them directed by Roland Emmerich, who returns to helm this giant blockbuster film, and exactly what you think Moonfall is going to be in terms of script, dialogue, entertainment, and all of those filmmaking technical aspects is what this movie is to a T. And I'm talking really everything I thought I was getting and lack thereof, I got, or lack thereof. That sounds weird. What surprised me about this movie is where the story itself actually goes. And I don't know, I haven't watched the full trailer, so I won't talk about anything specifically, but there's a revelation of sorts around halfway through this movie, maybe even further than that, that just completely caught me off guard. And if I'm going to give the movie kudos for anything, it's the fact that it's just so different from anything else in the genre, okay? That's kind of my check mark, my positive, my good thing, get that out of the way. My other big positive is that the movie is so bad that it's good. And I'm talking, you will sit there, you will laugh, you will scoff at the ridiculousness just a little bit, but then realize the kind of movie that you're in for, even though I don't know if it's entirely aware how bad it is, even then, there's entertainment to be had. My wife and I watching this film, we genuinely had a pretty good time watching it because we would constantly look at each other and kind of nudge each other. And that's the kind of experience that you're in for. So if you want to go in expecting a bad movie that is pure lunacy from an entertainment standpoint, that kind of works in an odd way. What it's not is a movie that is dull. It's not boring. It's not a film that you're going to sit and you're going to watch. And I've seen even people say this about a lot of artistic films that I would thoroughly enjoy. Sit there and say, it's boring. I can't. I don't care how good the script is. I just can't. This movie, the script, it's on another level of not good. But in terms of entertainment, it gets so ridiculous and so crazy. And the twist that I'm going to keep going back to is not the worst thing I've ever seen. With better execution, this could have been something really cool. So it's another thing I have to give it props for. All of that being said, the movie is bad. I've seen some people saying, well, this is a better blank disaster movie, whatever you want to call it, however you want to frame it. And I'm sitting here going, no, it's not. No, it's not. But again, you could look at it as entertaining. Well, Austin, if it's that bad, what's so bad about it? Well, first of all, the script is terrible. It's some of the worst dialogue, and I'm comparing this to other disaster movies, not even other movies in general. Some of the worst dialogue I've heard in a movie on the big screen. Okay, I've seen a few VOD films that are worse, but on the big screen that I've seen in years. And I'm talking, off the bat, we get some expositional dialogue that had me rolling my eyes, and then the one-liner of, "We're going to get you home." But that's not the only one-liner. If Earth gets a second chance, why shouldn't we get a second chance? We make a really good team. The only one I really liked was, "Let's get this son of a bitch." I thought it fit for the scene. Okay, one-liners aside, let's talk about the script itself and the fact that this movie avoids every sense of logic imaginable. Everything that happens is something that is built by the film to look and feel scientific. Obviously, it's not, and the route that the film goes, I got less and less harsh on that as we progressed, because at first it's trying to be extremely scientific, all of these things, and I'm like, well, if it's trying to work by the logic that we know, then it starts to fall apart. But as it goes, you realize that it's leaning in a different direction, so that didn't necessarily bother me all that much. The real issue here are the cliched characters, and the fact that really our main three, our trio, likable actors, they fall into the most cliche character group I've ever seen. There is nothing spectacular about the character of Brian Harper. He does and says things that we think and know he's going to say. I like Patrick Wilson. I like Halle Berry. But her character is saying things and making very important statements to people that should come off as badass, but it doesn't. It almost does the opposite because it feels so forced and the dialogue feels unnatural. And that makes me look at these two big-time stars and say, did you genuinely care about the script, or did you accept this role for other reasons? Maybe it's that you think the film was going to be fun at the end of the day, or maybe, well, we might have made some good money off of it. That's just how it felt with the performances. Likeable actors, so I think a lot of people are going to like them because of the actors. But when you start to deconstruct the characters and the fact that they are constantly saying and doing everything this character would say or do, nothing out of the blue, out of the ordinary, relationships with their kids, both of them have that. And then the performances from that section of the film. We'll talk about it. Our other main star here is John Bradley, who plays Casey, and he's actually interesting at the beginning. He comes across as this really annoying, nerdy type character that starts to figure things out, and the position that he puts himself in by the end of the film is commendable. I'll say that, but even then, that character just came off a little too strong at points, which made their entire dynamic forced, rushed, which I guess is the end of the world, so it has to be rushed, but just off and really awkward. But then you have their kids, Halle Berry's daughter, Charlie Plummer, who plays Sonny, and that entire storyline where Michael Pena also comes in as well, cut that whole part out of this film. All I cared about is what was going on beyond our world. That's what I'll say. And when we would get to that, I was actually slightly entertained. I just kind of closed my ears, not listen to the dialogue, and have some fun with that. But when we come back to Earth, and I understand you have to know the stakes and how everyone on Earth is in big trouble with what's going on with the moon, but every time we would cut back something stupid and so ridiculous, and this forced dialogue and Charlie Plummer's performance. I like Charlie Plummer, but what in the world was happening with some of these, numerous performances? Sonny, the exchange student, Halle Berry's daughter, Brian Harper's wife in this film, that performance was not good. It's just like there was another level of bad with the storytelling on Earth, and it sucked every bit of life out of what I was getting with this story. And in the midst of the disaster, of course, we have to have a group of humans who is after our hero characters, right? So that spawns a car chase that felt like Fast and the Furious. I'm like, how in the world did you manage to do that? Not only that, but the people that are after our heroes are shooting at the vehicle that they're in. But what they're trying to get from our heroes is oxygen and an oxygen tank. Why are you shooting at the oxygen tank if you are trying to get that? You see the logic that we're working with here? I'm not even talking about the space stuff. Why are you shooting at the oxygen tank? And every line by one of our human characters is just exposition. There was a moment where one of our characters was crushed by a tree and somehow didn't die immediately. Yes, the gravity thing, but there's no logic. I'm just telling you how I feel. From a script and character and development perspective, it's terrible. But there is some entertainment to be had, and that's kind of where I fall on Moonfall. It isn't without its ridiculous entertainment, and the refreshing twist is appreciated, but the dialogue and characters keep it from being good. My score is a 30%. It's one of those films that you kind of know what you're in for with Moonfall. And hey, if the moon falling is fun for you, then you'll enjoy this movie. All right, thanks so much for watching again. Stay tuned to this channel. We got a lot of reviews coming. See you soon.